Good, thank you. How are you?
I am super duper Wendy. We are so honored and privileged to have you here with us this morning to really just go through your story, to inspire someone else at home that may have gone through or still going through what you went through. And it's so great that God gave you the strength, to go ahead and be an author. So congratulations. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
not something that happens overnight. It
I
takes
know.
a lot of strength. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of courage and bravery, and you have done it, Wendy. So, Wendy, tell us, take us back to the moment or the period in your life when you realized that, you know what, there is more to my journey than others may think or I may think. And it's time for me to put this in writing. It's time for me to write my story. So, in other words, what is the why? Why did you go ahead and make your personal struggle a public testimony?
Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. First of all, I think the silence spoke heavier than the pain. And most people, when most people talk about motherhood, they always talk about the battle of labor pains, nothing more than that. So I've realized that I gave birth in 2015. I've realized that labor pains, for me, it was just a drop in the ocean. No one really talks about the struggles after, giving birth, the silent battles. We go through many battles, financial battles. We go through emotional battles. We go through a lot of social battles when you feel like the world is passing you by, when you feel like your world is crumbling right in front of your eyes. So writing this book for me, it was to create awareness even for those that want to have children. I want them to know that it doesn't end there. We go through a lot. We go through a lot to a point that I'm a single mom, and I had no support system, so I had to figure everything out by myself. So I decided to write this story to tell people that it's okay to not be okay, because it got to a point where I suffered from depression. So I lost myself. I forgot who I was. I forgot who Wendy is and what Wendy stands for. So and most of times when we have children, we neglect ourselves, and we think that being a mother is who I am. um, Being a mother is not who I am. It's part of who I am. Still inside of me, there's a little girl who has dreams. There's a little girl, who still wants to succeed. So in most of the times, we forget about who we are. We neglect ourselves, and we just focus on being a mother, and forgetting that we need to fill our cups so that we can take care of our children. So, the other thing that also made me to write my book was that I do not know my father. I'm a product of teenage pregnancy. So I try to mitigate the process by telling myself that I'll have a child in my 30s, probably, and meet someone older, wiser. And I did all that. But history repeated itself. My child also does not have a father. He does not know. He does have a father, but he does not know his father. He's turning 10. He's never met his father. So history repeated itself. And I think it's one of the things that made me to suffer, to go deep into to go deep into depression, because now I'm blessed with this little soul. How do I then, I ask myself questions, how do I then how do I then raise a boy child to be a king when I'm only a queen, and when I have no place of reference, because there was no man in the house to hug me and say, call me my little princess. There was no deep voice to come. So what do I reference from? So that was the main purpose of writing this book, because I do know that many people go through it, just that no one really talks about these things.
And true, we don't really hear people talking. And I think that that's where, like you're saying, people end up depressed. They end up feeling as if they are alone. And, It's them and the situation, where the situation in this context is a child, and it's just the two of you against the world. But how do you do it? You write about the quiet moments when your child sleeps and the weight of the world presses down on you. Walk us through one of those specific moments, that have happened within these 10 years. What are the thoughts? What kind of fears filled you or filled the silence that is around you?
I always say that being a mother is a battle, whether you have support system or not. But I personally feel that being a single mother is a war, because you have to be a mother and you have to be a father on the other hand. You have to be soft on the other hand, yet strong on the other side. You have to discipline on the other side and give love on the other side. And finding a balance between this is for me, it was very difficult. And also there's this monster called mom guilt, when you are trying to discipline your child, and then you find mom guilt coming in to destroy you, and it reduces you into nonentity. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt, you being a mother. I was at a point where I was like, I don't think I'm capable of raising this child, because I had no support system. I still don't, and it was so difficult that, as I've mentioned, that I ended up suffering from depression, because every time I'm trying to discipline my child, then the mom guilt comes telling me that I'm a bad mom, that I'm unable to raise this child. So those were the moments where life demands too much from you as a single mom, because you are trying to be both a mother and a father. It's very difficult. I found myself crying many times. I found myself holding my child, asking him to forgive me, because I always say that, Lord, I may fail at anything, but may I never fail at being a mom. Because I do understand that one day my child will sit in front of someone, whether it is a therapist, because he's trying to heal from the childhood traumas of being raised by me, or it's either he will sit in front of someone telling him how good it was to be raised by me. So I think that's the fear that I had, and I still have. And as much as there's no blueprint or manual to raise a child, I try my level best to be a present mom. I try my level best to be an active mom. I try my level best, to be visible in my child's life. I really don't have control of external factors of those that left, but I do have control of how I do things, of how I raise my child. So to answer your question, my fear has always been failing at being a mother. That's one thing I beg God for. And in my house, we always have, my child and I, we always have monthly meetings where we sit down and I ask him, sweetie, what is it that I can do better? How can I be a better mom? Because I want to end, I want to draw the line where in our days in the 80s, your parent, whatever your parent says goes. I try
They are right.
They are always right. I always try to apologize to my son. I always try to find out what kind of a mother, what do you want from me? How do you want me to mother you? Because I don't want at the end of the day my child to go sit in front of a therapist to try to heal because he's suffering from childhood traumas of being raised by me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love the fact that you are cognizant of it. You are mindful of how you raise him with every single step of the way. And you have put things into place that are going to ensure that you get better and better. There is no perfect parent, Wendy.
Correct.
That's one thing that I can tell you. I was also raised by a single mom, so I know it. And it's difficult.
Yes.
It's very hard.
True.
I've seen it in my own life. But you know what? I have learned that my mom did the best that she could
100%.
with what she knew at that time. And so mine is then to pick up from that and ask God for forgiveness, whatever I need forgiveness of, or forgive her in whatever way that she raised me, and then move forward from that. But I think God has also given us a grace, and He equips parents. If we ask of God, He will give it to us and He will do it for us. So it's also, we recently at my church, I think about 2 weeks ago, we had a workshop on parenting, and it was emphasized that these kids, you have been borrowed.
Yes.
You are a vessel that then brings them to the world, and then God does the rest. And God has entrusted you, so you do have a responsibility. You can't just say, well, it's up to God. But you also have a responsibility. And that's what I love about you, that you are aware of that responsibility that you have to raise this man, because he's a man. You're raising a man, so that he can go out there and be someone that impacts his community in a positive way.
Correct.
So you chose to write this book, and what I would love to know is, how did you come out from those moments of feeling invisible, feeling as if you are unseen, you're on your own, and maybe that depressive state of feeling, I can't do this. Why me, Lord? Again, I also, almost feels like it's passing down of generational trauma. And yes, so how did you get out of that and rise and say, you know what, Lord, I've got this?
I started giving myself permission to exist beyond the pain. I started being kind to myself. The same kindness that I'm giving to other people, the same kindness that I'm giving to my child, I started to revert that back to me. I started to speak positively about my life, because then I realized that whatever I say, it will affect me. Whatever I say about my life, if it's in a negative, it will affect me, and it will take me to a space, whether emotionally or mentally, in a good it will take me not in a good space if I continue speaking negatively about myself. So I started caring for myself. I started going out on an ice cream date by myself.
Wow.
I started looking after myself. I started doing my nails. I started doing my hair, because then, as I've mentioned, that we tend to forget about who we are. We tend to neglect ourselves when we are mothers. So I started reading a book without feeling guilty. I started going to a shop, because one thing that I will normally do, and I've noticed that most mothers do, is that if you go to the shop, going to buy yourself something, but you come out with a bag full of clothes for your child. So I had to overcome that, because then I started going to the shop, buying something for myself without feeling guilty. I started pouring so much into myself, because then I understand that a healthy mom means a healthy child. A happy mom means a happy child. So I started pouring positivity. I started caring, self-care. I can't emphasize enough the importance of self-care as a mother, because what you are will your child be, and you cannot pour what you do not have. If you've got positivity, you'll pour positivity into your child. If you've got negativity, you'll pour negativity into your child. So I cannot emphasize enough the importance of self-care as a mother. So that's where I started. I started jogging. I started going out on a date with friends. I started living my life. I went back to school, because then there's a girl inside of me who had dreams. I started going back to school and started achieving a degree on top of another degree. And I told myself that I need to do it for myself, because if I'm in a happy space, then if I'm happy, then my child will be in a happy space as well.
Everyone thrives.
Yes.
So profound. Being a single mom is not the end of your world.
Not
It's not
at
the
all.
end of your existence. It's about taking care of yourself as well, and knowing that there was a Wendy Figland before the child came.
Correct. Yes, correct.
And this is not to downplay our children. We love our children a lot, but also there was a parent before, and that parent also needs to be looked after. So you chose now to write with incredible vulnerability about the difficult moments, the heartbreak, the anger. Why was it so important to you that other people see the unfiltered private part of your struggle. So often we hide
Yes.
certain things, because hey, it's a shame, I'll just do it on my own. People mustn't know, they mustn't ask me. Abantu bazawuthini situation, us as black people especially. So how did you get to that moment of saying, you know what, this is my story and I'm going to tell it?
First of all, I think I wanted to break that stigma. Because we tend to hide and we always wear this facade that we've got it all figured out.
Yes.
When in fact we don't.
Yeah.
When in fact we are breaking.
Yeah.
So I wanted to break that stigma, and I wanted everybody to know that it's okay not to be okay. I wanted people to know that you it's okay to cry. And I didn't want to write or to paint a picture perfect story. I wanted to write a human story.
Yeah.
I wanted to write the truth. And also, when you are healing, in your journey of healing, the first step is the truth.
Yeah.
Telling the truth.
Hey.
Because when I wrote my book, it was healing for me as well. So I wanted people to understand that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to, to sit down when you feel that you are tired. But at the end of the day, at some point, you need to find yourself and stand up and continue with the life. It's not a shame. It's not a shame when you say that I'm not okay. You don't have to pretend like you've got this figured out when you actually don't. And these are the things that people don't talk about. So the main aim was to break the stigma, especially as I said, amongst us black people. We suffer from Abantu bazawuthini syndrome. And that for me, I really didn't care, because this is my journey to healing.
This is my journey to healing, claiming it as yours. And I love the part of truth, because truth truly sets us free.
Yeah.
The word of God says so as well. And it starts with being truthful to yourself, because really, why are we living in a facade when we know the truth? Now, for the single mothers that are listening right now, that feel completely unseen, completely worn out, unheard, what message do you hope your story sends directly into their hearts? What do you now see in that single lady that she might not be able to see in herself?
Normally what I would see from them is that they are strong. Raising a child by yourself I always say that I'm raising a generation. So as I've mentioned, that there's this mom guilt that will come and wants to destroy you, and make you doubt yourself. So to the mothers out there, especially to the single moms, I want to say, Mama, you are strong. I want to say, Mama, you are not weak. You are just a tired mom, whether it's financially, emotionally, or socially. I want to say that, Mom, trust yourself. I want to say that trust your gut instincts. Seek for help. You don't have to do this alone. You can have help through social media. That's what I did. There was a group on Facebook, a group of Abadlezana for new moms that I used to get support from. Even though I was not active, I was silent at the back. I would read while other mothers vent, and while other mothers, would try to give advice. So that's how that's where I got my strength. I had a social media a platform where I used to go and read and ask and get strength. So you really don't have to do this alone. You are strong. Believe in yourself. Trust your gut instincts. As long as you are raising your child in a manner that is respectful, as long as you are raising your child with love, as long as you are a present mom, as long as you're an active mom, you really don't have control of external factors, as I've mentioned. But believe in yourself, and above all, trust God. Trust God, because you can't do anything without him. I was looking at my child. My child is turning 10, and I looked at him and I got emotional, because I was like, God, I raised this child, and I knew that it can only be God, because I myself, I don't have the strength to do it alone. It is only God. Trust God, believe in God, pray pray for your child. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but it's possible. The fact that God allowed you to have that child is because God knows that you can do it. But you just need to make sure that you get all the support you need, whether it's through books, whether it's through speaking to colleagues or friends or social media support. But try to get support. You are not alone.
You are not alone. So, Wendy, now the book is coming out. Tell us a little bit about that and how can one get their hands on The Beauty and Battle of a Single Mom.
The book is coming out. It should be out by this Friday, if not, probably Wednesday latest. I'm still working on my online store, but if you follow me on TikTok, my name is Wendy Figlin. On Facebook, my name is Wendell's Figlin. Or you send me an email on wendyfiglin@gmail.com, or you send me a WhatsApp on 078 650 1189. I'll repeat that, 078 650 1189, where you can put money into my bank account, send me proof of payment. I'll post the book to you through your closest PEP. If you are not in Cape Town or you are far from me because I'm in Parklands, you pay 60 Rand extra for me to post it through PEP. But once the online store is ready, up and going, then I will share that information as well. But where I'm currently active is on TikTok and Facebook.
Excellent. Wendy, thank you so much for your time that has been spent with us, pouring your heart and being vulnerable and authentic about your story. We know that through this, you are helping so many other single mothers out there, single ladies out there. Siyambulela truly uThixo ngobomi bakho. Thank you for being this testimony, a walking testimony that it's possible to do it. And yes, the rough times can be there, but one, you can rise from those rough times. And may God extend your territory. May He bless the work of your hands, and may He bless you and your son. And may you be that parent that God has intended for you to be. May you pass down, godly principles to your son as you raise him. Thank you so much for your time. Siyabulela.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Right.